All right, everybody, it is time for a reading update. Once again, there are quite a few, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Since my last reading update, I read and listened to the audiobook of Sign Here by Claudia Lux. We have a couple of different POVs that we follow, but the main one is that of Peyote, a guy that works in hell, and his job collecting the souls of those desperate enough to sign it over. This was fun. I really enjoyed it, and if you can get your hands on the audiobook, I highly recommend. I read The Arc of the Safe Room by David Lopera, and in this one we also have multiple POVs. And we are at a school for troubled girls. So already, as I mentioned in my last update, high emotions, high stakes, and on top of it, they are performing experiments. Yep. And they're cruel. It was kind of fucked up. Especially like the last third of the book. I feel like that's where we really got the more goriness of it all. So yeah, that was that. I read Crossroads by Laurel Hightower, and in this one we follow Chris, a mother, after the tragic death of her son, and she is not coping well. I mean, who would in that situation? And one day she unintentionally begins to bring offerings to get a glimpse of her son, and yeah, this was quite a spiral and very emotional. I really liked it. I read Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews, and in this one we follow Andrew, and he has a very codependent personality and often leans on his twin Dove and his best friend Thomas. But going into this next school year, it is tough because their trio is at odds. And by that, I mean Thomas and Dove are in a fight, and that is definitely driving a wedge in their trio. And Andrew is caught in the middle because how could you choose between your best friend and your twin? You know what I mean? This was really, really good. I read an arc for Body Parts by Matthew Vaughn, and this is a transgressive horror where we follow this man who discovers his desire for body parts. And there's another world bleeding into his own, and so watching that unravel was very interesting. Then I read Petty Lies, and I feel like the less you know, the better, and I really ate this up. I don't know if you can tell, but I tabbed the heck out of this short book. I really like this one. Then I read The Nuns of Durango by V. Castro, and in this one we have two cousins who go on a very dangerous quest, and they call on Valak. Yeah, I know, of all beings, they call on Valak to protect them. And yeah, Valak is not the demon other people made it out to be. Then I read an arc of The Horrors of Rejection by Radar DeBoard, and I really love the concept of this because this is a collection of short stories that were rejected at one point or another, and there is a wide variety of stories in this. But also there's quite a few that are sea related, so if you like that, then I think you're really going to enjoy this. But regardless, there's something in here for everybody. And I read The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monika Kim. In this one, Ji-won's parents' separation really left a giant tear in the family, and everyone is spiraling in their own way. But Ji-won's spiral is very interesting. Hunger and rage is all I'll say. Read an arc of Grief Eater by Emma Osborne, and in this one, Christina is a newly transformed zombie, and she has just one mission: to get revenge on her family that was always so cruel to her, and this was quite emotional as well. I almost missed one, but I also read Elegy for the Undead, and in this one we follow Jude and Lyle, and their whole world has essentially shattered because of a zombie outbreak, and Lyle becomes one of the infected. And this was so deeply emotional, not only because you're dealing with an outbreak, but because you are dealing with someone who is turning into one of the infected. And I love the relationship in this because it feels so real, because it is far from perfect. So yeah, those are the books that I have read, and I am currently reading Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zeng, and I am going to start an arc of the Video Store Massacre. Yeah, I will be starting that as well. But yeah, that is my reading update. If you've read any of these, please let me know your thoughts, and as always, happy reading!